Next up, we've got the Big Sky Water and Sewer District, and Grant Burrows is going to be joining us to present on their behalf. The Big Sky County Water and Sewer District is a special purpose unit of government organized to regulate and operate the water and sewer systems at Big Sky, Montana. Created in 1993, the district is governed by a 7-member board of directors. Board meetings are held monthly at the district office, generally on the 3rd Tuesday of each month. The public is welcome to join. All right, Grant, let's kick us off.
Thanks. Yeah, my name's Grant Burrows. Normally Ron Edwards, the manager, would be here, but he's in Bozeman giving a presentation down at Montana State University. So I am the wastewater superintendent, and I guess the big thing that we're doing is, you probably noticed the batch plant down by the Ace Hardware. That's part of our new project down there to build a new sewer treatment plant. We don't want to go there. So the current plant here is 0.65 million gallons a day. That's what it was designed for. The new plant will put us up around 1 million gallons a day. And this started today pouring the concrete, so we're kind of excited. They're a little behind schedule. The water well exploration you can see on the right, that they planned 11 new wells on the mountain. They drilled 9, and they're hoping to develop 2 of those. They're just waiting for the geologist to come through with the final well development on that. This is the funding that we have, and I guess that's it. I'm sorry. I really encourage you, if you want to ask questions, you got to come and talk to Ron, because he's the guy. I'm the student.
Grant, what you do is extremely important, and thank you for what you do to make Big Sky better together. Next up, we have Inyon Williams with the Big Sky Transportation District, a special purpose district established in 1991 with a locally elected board of 5. The Big Sky Transportation District will be celebrating its 30th anniversary in December, and its Skyline services will be celebrating their 15th anniversary. We know the vital public transportation services that Skyline provides, and Skyline looks forward to being able to increase its services in the near future to keep up with the growth in the community and in the region. And with that, I'll turn it over to Danny.
Thank you very much, Danny, and thank you for holding this presentation tonight. As Danny mentioned, we are celebrating our 30th year as a district and our 15th year as Skyline Bus. A couple of numbers. Since we started the Skyline Bus, we've served 2.4 million rides in the Skyline. We've traveled 6.5 million miles, and we, as a few years back with the resort tax, we started taking fares that Al and I were talking about earlier today. And so far we've collected $1.3 million in fares in our in Skyline with that. So with that, we have had growing demand. You can see that our highest was in 18 and 19 with COVID and some things with fewer J1 students. Our numbers have gone down in the past couple of years, but as soon as they come back, our numbers will be right back up there. Being that we were formed in 1991, our district was much smaller than what the resort tax district was, and so you all may have seen that we went out to a vote to increase the district of the our district to match that of the resort tax district. We do have the ability to have a mill levy and tax on the bus system, which we will probably be looking at coming out for a vote as to whether our community would like to have that as part of a fund, as part of our funds for the district. We are expanding this year up to the Montage Hotel. We will be providing service up to that hotel that is part of our district. And another thing that you will notice this year as well is that we have putting some color coding to our different routes. So the Meadow Circulator will be represented by a blue line, the Canyon to Mountain will be the yellow line, the Mountain Circulator will be the green line, and the Bozeman to Big Sky will be the red line. So just another way to be able to identify which line is going to be out there and which bus to get on so that you know you're on the right bus. And additional this year as well is that we are going to be having half-hour service between the town center and the mountain all winter long for the skiers. So that was something that has been asked from the community to have more frequent service between the area. And hopefully we will get that buses that came through with the Tiger Grant here in the near future. They're still on hold, but we hope to see them soon. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Indian, and all you and David do with the Transportation District to make Big Sky better together. As a reminder, these presentations are informal. Feel free to jump up, head and grab some food, a drink, go to the bathroom, head to the expo next door and learn more information. We also have handouts, which are out front for contact information for all the organizations if you want to get involved, as well as this recording, which will be available tomorrow, or the Seth, maybe not tomorrow. By the end of the week, we'll have it up online on our website. So with that, next up is Al Malinowski with the Big Sky Post Office, and it is a federal government contractor that was established in 2001. Since 2001, the Post Office LLC has provided postal services to the Big Sky community. During those 20 years, we have seen the growth of Big Sky exceed the capacity of the current facility and are committed to collaborating with the United States Postal Service and the Big Sky Resort Area District to identify a long-term solution to improving postal services in the Big Sky community. With that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Al.
Thank you, Danny. I think it was somewhat appropriate, maybe the order tonight, following Lone Mountain Land and recognizing all of the additional workforce housing that's coming into the community, and then even following the Transportation District and all the great information and graphs they have. I don't have a lot of that for you today because of our positioning as a contract station. And so while we recognize that we don't have a facility right now that can handle or that can serve the community of Big Sky the way the community of Big Sky should be served, we are working really hard with the Resort Tax District to try to get the right people in the United States Postal Service to understand our community, to understand that our community is different than what we look like on a piece of paper, and to get them to come visit our community, walk through the facility with us, which would be a real treat. If any of you would ever like to do that, we'd be happy to have you back there. We've had the opportunity to tour some folks, our local county commissioners in the back of the facility. We've had representative from Senator Daines' office tour with us, and we've had some phone conversations with folks from Senator Tester's office. And it doesn't take long for them to recognize that our facility is not large enough for what we do in our community. I don't have a lot of graphs, but what I do is I have some pictures. And the pictures, they say are worth 1,000 words. Well, these pictures are of December 23rd, 2019. So this is pre-COVID. And because I'm not provided a lot of data, I know Sarah, if Sarah were still sitting here, she loves to ask me about package data, like how many packages do we get in a month? I wish I knew that, because I think I could put together some great graphs that show the growth in package and the growth in first-class mail over the years and how that corresponds to our increase in costs and why we now need a new facility. But apparently I may have to use feet in height of packages that are lit out on our back dock to show that we're growing. Now this was 2 years ago, again, pre-COVID, so last year was as many of you probably realize, because I'm assuming a lot of you ordered even more last year online than you did the prior year. Last year was a dynamo. And so I want the community to understand that we recognize that there's a problem. We just can't solve it alone. And so we are working hard to get some representatives, some decision makers within the United States Postal Service to come to our community, see our current facility, tour the area, look around and understand it. I'm preaching to the choir here. You guys all know it. I'm not telling you something you don't know, but what I am telling you that you may not know is we're working hard to have that sit down, to try to bring the United States Postal Service to the table. And we're really thankful that Senator Daines and Senator Tester have recognized the same issue, along with our 2 county commissioners. We've had 4 of the 6 county commissioners visit the facility, and they understand the problem. So that's what we're working toward, is having that conversation. I know there's a lot of rumors about a big hole next to the post office and that being the future post office. Well, it sure could be. But until we have that conversation with the United States Postal Service, we're a few steps away from being able to really lock that down. While we have those conversations, we think there are 2 other important issues in our community that should be discussed and hopefully resolved. One of those is we're not a federal post office, we're a contract station. And I believe we've outgrown that structure. I have got pictures here of the West Yellowstone Post Office, the Gallatin Gateway Post Office. Both of those facilities are operated by the federal government. Incidentally, they're both larger than our facility. And just as a side note, on most days, since the same truck delivers to all 3 of us, most of those days we get more mail than most of those facilities combined. So we are working. And I wanted to make a note for all the folks that put the nice, friendly comments about our staff, along with the Explore Big Sky article. That was really appreciated, and we're glad to know that you understand that those folks are working as hard as they can with the facility that they have and with the resources that they have. So put a smile on their face. It certainly put a smile on my face. And the last thing I want to mention before I run out of time is we'd also like to have a discussion about the canyon. You know, right now the canyon is Gallatin Gateway. Our school has a Gallatin Gateway address. We should have a discussion, and much like the resort tax has tried, let's get the boundaries of Big Sky for the postal services to match probably the resort tax boundaries. So we're all talking about the same community.
Thanks, Al, for what you and the team do to make Big Sky better together. Next up, we have the Gallatin Canyon Water and Sewer District and Mace Mangold representing this special purpose district of local government that is governed by a locally elected board of 3 directors. The Gallatin Canyon Water and Sewer District was formed in late 2020 based on findings and recommendations from the Canyon Area Sewer Feasibility Study facilitated and funded by the Gallatin River Task Force and BizRad, respectively. Since that time, additional studies have been completed and a total of $14 million in funds secured to construct the base infrastructure required to provide central sewer for the immediate development corridor along Highway 191 and the Gallatin River. And with that, I'll turn it over to Mace.
So Al said we should talk Canyon, and I'm here to talk Canyon. So I got unanimously voted to present today from the 3 board members. Drop of a hat, they didn't even think twice. My name is Mace Mangold, work with WGM Group, who has worked over the last couple of years to get this project kind of defined, evaluated, feasibility level characterization of why it's needed and what it's going to take to do. So general two years and counting timeline. BizRad is really the reason this is gotten to where it's at. The task force, it was the impetus, their proactiveness towards understanding the river system, recognizing septic systems as a notable threat to the river, led to funding for the feasibility study. That funding secured in 2019, roughly a 9-month effort to get through that feasibility study. There's been 2 public outreach meetings during that effort to kind of share findings. Those are available online if you go to the task force website. Just this summer, the funding effort has ramped up with ARPA funding, plus the 1% for infrastructure vote earlier this spring. And with that, as Danny mentioned, we've secured now $14.75 million as of last week. So slowly bring the money to the table to get this on the tracks. Coming out of that feasibility study, the district formed roughly 9 months later, so very rapid formation to move upon the recommendations of the feasibility study, and we're starting to see how we can phase the project relative to the funds secured, and so kicking into this 4-year run of who wants to connect, how big will the boundary be, what's the affordability of this system, and starting to find the project further. Project need, the general dynamic down there is the entire canyon corridor has no central water. So when Grant presented the wastewater treatment plant upgrade, everything uphill of about the golf course or the lagoons, that all comes downhill to central treatment, which is high quality treatment. And with the Big Sky Water and Sewer District's plant upgrade, it's very high quality treatment. Whereas down in the canyon, it's concrete tanks to drain fields, and that goes into the groundwater. All the potable water in that canyon is via wells in that same aquifer. So this is a map illustration of projected build out over the next 20 years of nitrogen plumes going to the Gallatin River. And what's not shown on there is, I'll say, upwards of 50 to 100 private wells that are potentially in that plume path, plus the river. So the need is there from a drinking water source protection, reduce the nutrient load to the river, and I'd say even more importantly than the near-term load is the long-term load. So general overview of what the project is about. We're planning, the preliminary engineering report identified a collection system from Ophir School, way down here to the south, up to the intersection of Highway 191 and 64, also grabbing the Bighorn Center to the north, and gravity collecting to a lift station, and then conveying that effluent to the Big Sky Water and Sewer District upgraded plant. Plan is to send treated effluent back down to the canyon for disposal. So that's the nuts and bolts of what the project is about from an infrastructure standpoint. But going forward, it's really combining these interests, the river interest, protecting the river long term, housing interest with central water and sewer. You can start to go high density vertical community housing, workforce housing. And then again, the collaboration between the Big Sky Water and Sewer District and the Gallatin Canyon Water and Sewer District of treatment provided by one and disposal by the other is a co-solution that has a lot of benefits for the community. Again, the Big Sky wastewater treatment plant upgrade that's in progress, as Grant described, that's key to maintaining that net nutrient reduction we're after. Highway 64 conveyance, like I said, and collection through the corridor, and our goal is to conserve that water via groundwater recharge to the aquifer, which will, and potential irrigation reuse of that treated effluent to start reducing our reliance on pumping from the aquifer in the first place. I think that is my 5-minute summary. Thank you.
Thanks, Mason. All that the Gallatin Canyon Water and Sewer District is doing to make Big Sky better together.